This story is taking Philadelphia by storm, but maybe it shouldn't. Let's give it a watch.
Philadelphia police have arrested and charged a teenager and his older brother for the murder of a man in front of his 2-year-old daughter. Action News reporter Sarah Bloomquist is live in the 1500 block of Mellon Street in Spring Garden, the scene of this horrific crime. Sarah.
And Jim, today Philadelphia police detailed how they tracked down the two suspects who are now accused of shooting and killing Gerard Granzel here on his block with his 2-year-old daughter nearby. They also identified the 16-year-old, the juvenile accused of pulling the trigger. His older adult brother remains in police custody in North Jersey. This is 16-year-old Marvin Roberts. Police believe he's the trigger man who shot and killed 38-year-old Gerard Granzel outside his home at 15th and Mellon in the Spring Garden section just after 8 o'clock on Thursday night. A surveillance camera on the block recorded both audio and video of the murder.
It's terrible. It's one of the most horrific things I've seen in 24 years in a police department. Very hard to watch.
Granzel had just parked his SUV on the block with his 2-year-old daughter strapped in her car seat. Police say Roberts and his 21-year-old brother Maurice approached fast. They allegedly had come to this part of the city looking to rob people.
One holds a gun to him, the other retrieves his wallet. They ask him to step to the side of the car, which he does. He complies completely, doesn't resist. Mr. Granzel then says that his 2-year-old daughter's in the car. I believe they asked for the keys, and then he was shot twice.
Police say the audio recorded the 2-year-old girl crying as the two suspects fled nearby to SEPTA's Broad Street line to make their escape. Police quickly identified Maurice and Marvin Roberts as suspects. By Saturday, warrants were signed, and soon the brothers were in custody.
An alert, sharp detective on the fugitive squad, Detective Cahill, observed Marvin Roberts in the area of Broad and Venango and was able to grab him and put him into custody.
And again, Maurice Roberts was discovered in North Jersey. No word quite yet on when he'll have his extradition hearing to be brought back here to Philadelphia. He has not yet been formally charged in connection with this crime. Marvin is charged with a long list of crimes, including murder. Granzel does leave behind his wife, 2-year-old daughter, and a newborn baby girl. The family has received tens of thousands of dollars in donations on a GoFundMe page. You'll find a link to donate on our website, 6abc.com. Live in the Spring Garden section, I'm Sarah Bloomquist, Channel 6 Action News.
So, okay, they arrested a couple of fellas for killing this guy in front of his daughter, 2-year-old daughter. The backstory on this guy, and I think that may or may not be in that video we just saw. The backstory is this is a white guy who's moved with a bunch of other white people. They moved into this marginal neighborhood. I won't even say, if you want to use the word gentrifying, go ahead. I don't think it's that nice of a neighborhood to begin with. They moved into this gentrifying neighborhood, and the people, I'm sorry, listen, I'm sorry to be so tough on the dead, but I've seen these people by the dozens, by the hundreds all over the country. These white people steeped in denial, deceit, and delusion. They go into these neighborhoods. They're telling every one of them becomes an immediate and frequent victim of black criminality. Yet over the years, they keep looking at us going, oh, we have a great neighborhood. When they're talking to us, it's like we have a great neighborhood. But when they talk to each other on Facebook and their Facebook pages, I lurk on a lot of these Facebook pages, including one in my own little burg of Wilmington, Delaware, called Tilton, Friends of Tilton Park. A couple in Minneapolis. All over the country, I see these same kind of people getting together, especially on this neighbors.com thing. And so to each other, they're all going, to us, they're putting up the happy face. To each other, they're going, hey, what's up with all this crime around here? And if somebody objects to the crime too strongly, they're kind of drummed out of the group. All of a sudden, they're blamed for the criminality. When these white people that move into these black neighborhoods are nothing but soft targets. They're the softest of the soft. And so this guy's driving around. He takes his it's like, when most people move into these gentrified neighborhoods, they're people without kids, because people with kids on some level know better than to do what they did. You don't move your kids into a neighborhood where white people are targets of black violence and criminality. You just don't do that. And so this guy moved his family into that neighborhood. He was one of these, oh, everything's happy. No, the color has no crime. We're all good. We're all going to sing Kumbaya around here. Because that's how the white people in Philadelphia are desperate to roll. You know, and of course we did a story like a month or two ago in a place called Fishtown. That's ultra gentrified now. I mean, that's like seriously black neighborhood. They're putting in little places where you get $12 sandwiches and $9 glasses of beer. They have a gym. Bunch of black people went into the gym, disrupted the gym, throwing rocks at people who are working out around there. Now a little magazine in Philly goes, has the knockout game returned to Philadelphia because a bunch of white people are getting attacked in Fishtown for no reason whatsoever? Oh, and by the way, a lot of people think the knockout game is a myth. Well, the knockout game is a myth only to clowns like the people who write this magazine who try to define it so narrowly. You can define anything narrowly enough and make it disappear. You can just, so that way you can't see the pattern. Well, the knockout game is anybody beating the hell out of somebody else for the hell of it. If somebody gets their pockets rifled at the end, it doesn't really change the thing that just happened. So that's what's happening in Philly. So we got this guy that got killed, then we got more knockout games. By the way, does this case in Philly of this guy being killed in front of his kid, 2-year-old kid, does that seem familiar to anybody? Amber Long, ring a bell? Recent college graduate walking around the streets of Philly at 10, 11 o'clock at night. Car full of fellas drive by, hit the brakes, squeal to a stop. They get out, grab the mom's purse, grab Amber's purse. She holds on to it. The guy takes a gun out and kills her. On video, we see the whole thing. Amber Long. I forget the dad, but this happened after Long. This happened to another dad. This dad used to go out walking the dog with his daughter. A white dad walk his dog with his daughter, like 5 in the afternoon. He's walking his dog. A couple of the fellas playing basketball. Boom, they killed him. They killed him. For basically, I don't even think they were robbing him. It was like they were just done playing basketball. That was on their one list of things they like to do. Their next thing was, let's go out and kill a white person. That's what they did. And so really these stories in Philadelphia as they mount up, not just in Philly, but other places, these are really stories of not just black on white murder, they're also stories of denial, deceit, and delusion among people who put themselves in harm's way because they just don't have enough common sense to come in out of an English rain. Same story happened just down, I think it's Richmond. There's a place down in Richmond. You can always tell what the buzzwords are, right? It's like, well, this is an improving area. We're trying to improve. Whoops. See, even I don't have a sense to get out of the rain. It's an improving area, and we're working on it, and we're working, we need a better plan from police. Let's take a look at this story. Let's see some more black on white murder down in Richmond, where it's also rampant and epidemic. And let's watch the last guy in this video, because he's the one that comes in and, starts saying all the things that the suckers say in these situations.
Standing outside of this pizza place at the corner of 18th and Main Street, police say 2 men are attacked. Crime Insider sources say one man, a 28-year-old, is hit so hard in his temple that he stiffens and falls hard to the concrete sidewalk.
It's impossible to stop every psycho that'll beat somebody up over a piece of pizza. I mean, it's a cultural, problem that I can't fix for Shockoe Bottom.
Richmond police have not confirmed the motive for the attack, but Crime Insider sources say it did appear to be random. Those same sources say the victim, who is now in critical condition, was captured on pizza shop surveillance video suffering a vicious beating. Something David Napier, the Shockoe Bottom Association president, says simply cannot happen.
The buck stops with the mayor. He's got to take a hard look at it. It's his city for the next 4 to 8 years, and we'd love to work with him in any way possible. And the officers that I know would want this problem to go away. We just need to rethink the strategy a little bit.
Napier adds that this type of crime can cause what he calls the economic engine of this city to sputter, and hopes police catch whoever attacked the men and hold them accountable.
We have a very bad look right now because there's so much construction in the market, but when all this is built out, by next summer, we're going to have a beautiful downtown city center. The investment the city made down here will not pay off unless they take this neighborhood seriously.
Bill and Candace were told the other man involved in this incident, he is okay. Crime Insider sources tell me police do have a good suspect information and an arrest is imminent. I spoke with the victim's mom on the phone tonight. She is disheartened and concerned, saying it's a shame you can't stand outside without fear of getting pummeled for no reason.
Okay, so this super criminology genius decides, well, you know what? We've got a good idea, moving a bunch of clueless white people into a dangerous black neighborhood. There's nothing wrong with that idea. We just need to tweak our strategy a little bit. I just can't. Nobody that's part of the solution to these things really ever comes to grips with the fact of black on white hostility. How all over the country, if you're hearing this for the first time, I'm sorry to be the one to tell you, black people aren't really into white people that much. They don't really like us that much. When they're talking about, and when they talk about it on TV, when they talk about it in their magazines and on their radio shows, they're not looking over their shoulders, wondering if anybody's listening. They're not choosing their words carefully. They speak very plainly about what they think about white people, not much. And we see this hostility expressed in violence all over the place. Like Philadelphia, we just saw it. Like Richmond, we just saw it. And remember, the denial, deceit, and delusion coming from these community activists who live in these places. Look, I'm on the side of people that like starting businesses. I'm on the side of people with great ideas. I'm on the side of people that really want to make something happen for themselves in their own life. I'm on their side 100%. But I'm not on. But I leave their side the second they start entering the world of denial, deceit, and delusion and start telling us and the rest of the world that they're living in a safe place, that it's any day now it's going to be fine. And we've seen dozens, how many stories have we done like this? Of these merchants, they just become victims of regular, predictable theft and violence in their little hipster business in a coffee shop in a black neighborhood. And they just leave without even, they just leave. They don't want to become victims twice by saying, hey, I thought I was doing something good by moving into this neighborhood, bringing jobs and cleaning the place up. But from day one, all I've received is hostility and racial violence against me, my business, my family, my customers. This is like what's happening. What about Trader Joe's up in Portland? Trader Joe's was like, the ultimate white place to go, right? So they go to the city council in Portland and they go, hey, give us, help us figure out a little piece of dirt for us down in the ghetto of Portland. And, we don't really do business in the ghetto that much, but tell us about where to go and we'll go down there and we'll set up a store. Kind of like our outreach thing, our diversity thing. So they thought they were doing a good thing. Next thing you know, there's like 100 black people out there telling Trader Joe's to go to hell. We don't want you here. And by the way, what we do want is free public housing so we can give black people more free stuff. We don't want, and like I said, they're very explicit. Like, we don't want white people in this neighborhood. What's wrong with you? Look at all the stories on gentrification in Washington, Baltimore, D.C., all over the country, San Francisco, Oakland, story after story after story. The white people are going in very measured terms. Oh, we want to bring our money into the community and make a big difference and paint everything nice and white and pink. The black people are going, oh, no, we're not down with the white people stuff. We have history here. And no, we don't want, Spike Lee got up and just was vilified white people at a meeting held at the Young Men's Christian Association, YMCA. He didn't want anything to do with gentrification. He didn't want anything to do with these white people moving into black neighborhoods like we saw this guy in Philly, like we saw this guy in Richmond, Virginia. But they keep moving, they keep giving they keep giving excuses for it, they keep ignoring and denying it when it happens. There's violence directed at white people. All because people in Philly and Richmond and lots of other places, they just don't want to make the black kids angry.